Hello everyone, Daryl the Northern Vinyl Guy here, back with another video. And this one here is part 2 of my styles video, Vinyl Styles, a series in which I'm going through my collection using Discogs. Of course, when you do your filtering on Discogs, especially the app, you can filter by genre and then by style. So I guess style would be another way of saying sub-genre. And so what I'm doing is I'm starting with my collection of all the albums that I only have one of per subgenre or style, and then I'm going to work my way all the way through my collection to the style that I have the most of. So these ones are basically all the ones that I only have one album in my collection. It's going to take me about 4 or 5 videos to get through all the number ones, and then there are a list of about, I think 10 or 15 that I have 2 of, and then so forth and so forth. So if you haven't seen my part 1 video, I'm going to leave that down in the description below. Of course, as always, if you are new to my channel, definitely give me a thumbs up, click that subscribe, leave some comments down below. And if you are a regular viewer to my channel, always appreciate the support. And so here we go with part 2 of this. So, part of the whole pop music, there's a whole pile of different subgenres or styles that belong in the pop music thing, and you'll see that as my series goes on. But one of the, I guess, the popular ones that I remember from the late 60s, my dad used to have a few CDs of this, is a subgenre or style known as bubblegum music or bubblegum pop. And I have a compilation album of 60s bubblegum music. Got this through a friend of mine when he was getting rid of his collection. And of course, this features 3 famous bubblegum bands from the 1960s, that being the Ohio Express, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company, and what's the other one here? A band by the name of Jack Wild. And of course, these guys were famous for like Yummy Yummy Yummy. They've got Chewy Chewy down at Lulu's, etc., etc. So it's kind of like walking into like a candy shop and just that poppy, get you in a happy mood kind of music. So if you haven't checked this stuff out, give it a go. And it is on the Birchmount label, which I think was, they did a lot of like various stuff, kind of like Ronco and K-Tel and all that kind of stuff. So subgenre or style number 1 is bubblegum music with some poppy music. Up next, speaking of pop music, we're going to head to the late 80s, early 90s. I believe this album was released in 1990 with some pop rap. And this is the guy that took, I guess, rap music and turned it into, how would I say it, white man rap music. He was liked by some, not by others. Arrogant as all get out. His real name is Robert Van Winkle, if I remember correctly, and that is none other than Vanilla Ice, and to the extreme. So he took rap music, but this isn't like, your early 90s. This isn't like gangster rap or anything like that. It's not electronic rap or anything like that. This is straight up pop rap music. Of course, known for Ice Ice Baby, which is the starting track on this, but he also had a few other songs that he did: Stop That Train, Life is a Fantasy, and of course the cover version of Play That Funky Music, which rounds out side 1 of this album. I used to have a bus driver that used to play music on cassette tape. One of the first cassette tapes I ever bought was Vanilla Ice to the Extreme. But of course, I went to a Catholic elementary school. We had a bus driver that was a Baptist minister, and the second that some of the songs came on, yeah, that was about the end of the music playing on our school bus, because he reported it to our principal that it was offensive. And there you go. So he would, Vanilla Ice, not liked by all. I love it though. All right, up next, category of jazz dance. Hard to kind of explain this one, and this is one of those albums where I get it. there's definitely a little bit of jazz tone to it, but it also has some soft rock or soft pop elements to it. Definitely a change from, you know, his days with the Police, and that is Sting. And the Dream of the Blue Turtles. This album here is considered, one of the styles is considered jazz dance. So I can see it. I mean, there's a few tracks on here that would definitely have that jazzy feel. This album here is, you know, it features the single "If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free," but "Fortress Around Your Heart" is a great tune. You know, "Love Is the Seventh Wave." These are good. These are good tracks. But "If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free," I get it. Jazz dance, Sting. There we go. The only album I have that fits that genre. Next up, we have indie pop. So once again, indie music is that kind of a genre where, you know, it doesn't fit, I guess, any mainstream type thing. I've even heard it referred to by some members of the VC that if you hear one or two indie bands, you've kind of heard them all. They all sound samey. I could see it, but in this case, indie pop, I'm not 100% sure. This guy here I've talked about. It was one of my great pickups of 2025. This guy kind of goes back to like the 1960s. So he's taken on music and he sounds like singers of the 1960s. Easiest way I can explain this is if you've heard the Everly Brothers, he kind of has that Everly Brothers type vibe to him. And that is none other than Steven Sanchez. I believe this is a 2023 album, if memory serves me right. I'm not going to be able to see the date in there. My eyes are just too weak for that. But Steven Sanchez and Angel Face is the album. And like I said, even the music videos kind of take that 1960s persona. Not too much else I can say other than, yeah, if you're into that kind of music, and even the back side of the album, the back cover, you know, it looks like one of the 1960s covers with explanations to all the songs and whatnot. Yeah, Until I Found You is the main single from this album. Great stuff. Indie pop, but I would almost make it more akin to like 1960s soft pop music. Up next, this is one of the ones that I was talking about where I don't know that the style necessarily meets the album in full. I don't have the album for this. I just have a 12-inch single. The reason being is that it's a pretty penny to buy the album here. So we're going to be moving into a subgenre or style called techno. Now, when I think techno, I think like Technotronic and that dance music of the 1990s, stuff like that, which it definitely falls into that. But the only album I have in my collection that fits this, according to Discogs, is my 12-inch single of the Smashing Pumpkins' 1979. Now, I get that the song itself has techno aspects to it, but the Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness album itself, which is a 4-disc set, and I just can't afford to purchase it at the moment, and it's not that easy to come by. But it fits more of the 1990s alternative mold for me, of course, Billy Corgan and company. As of the recording of this song, or of this video, I should say, not the song, but the recording of this video, it is my birthday today, and I was born in 1979, so it's kind of ironic that I'm doing this video now. But yeah, 1979, great track. If you haven't heard Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, this is one of the main singles that's on it, and fantastic stuff. I don't even know how I got this 12-inch single. And it's one of the few 12-inch singles that I do have in my collection. So, 1979 Smashing Pumpkins, a little bit of techno music according to Discogs. Got to flip the page here so I know what the next category is. And the next style or subgenre I have in my video is the subgenre of noise music. Now, initially when I thought about noise music, I always thought it was kind of like, in my previous video, I showed a grindcore album and stuff like that. But this is kind of more, I don't know, I don't even want to call it art music or anything like that. I would just call it like exactly what it sounds like, noise music, noisy music. Very rough around the edges. From my Greenlandic collection, I do believe these guys are out of Denmark though, but I think they've toured and played in Greenland. A band by the name of Secure Escape. Memory serves me right. This is called Turnpoint. I believe Turnpoint was the main single that was released in Europe off of this album. I have a hard time with this album. Like, some of the tracks are really good, but some of them are just, like I said, very noisy. I don't want to call it metal machine music type stuff, but it is a noisier, rough around the edges type music. And of course, kind of a creepy album cover. I don't know what they're doing with their eyeballs and stuff there, but creepy band. But nonetheless, if you get a chance, check them out. Unique, different music. Secure Escape and their album Turnpoint. Now, if one were to ask me, what is a genre or subgenre of music that they probably wouldn't think I had in my collection, it would be this one. Now, this album here, I believe, is a 2 or 4 disc set. I can't remember. I got it for a couple of bucks at a thrift shop, going back to the 1920s and 30s. But this is the subgenre of opera. I am not an opera connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination. When I think opera, I think like Pavarotti and stuff like that. But Scott Joplin and the opera Treemonisha from 1920s, and this was recorded on the Deutsche Grammophon label. But this is a really neat set here. Twizzler wrapper that was in there. But it came with a really nice booklet. Has like the lyrics and the scores, but it also has, some pictures of the opera itself. It's got the any information that's in there about some of the the scenes and the music. And it also comes with like right here, it even has like a piano score that is on there. So I thought it was a really cool $2 purchase. And you don't typically see this particular label, so I'm just going to show it. But the Deutsche Grammophon, which I think is a really nice looking label. I normally don't show labels too much, but yeah. A category of music that one probably wouldn't think that the Northern Vinyl guy is going to have, and that is opera with Scott Joplin, who I think is pretty cool. Also known for like the piano music of the 1910s and 20s. Okay, we're coming down to the last 3 styles here. So the next one is spoken word, an audiobook. So I got this through a collection that I had bought off of Kijiji one time, and the guy just sent me, I was looking for some specific stuff. He just sent it to me for a specific set price, and I was like, okay, I'll take it all, and it included the shipping. So I am not typically into spoken word music. I do have another one that might fit this mold, but it fits a different genre later that I probably will pull out. But this is the Jonathan Livingston Seagull album. And as you can see, it is spoken as told by Richard Harris. Richard Harris, if you are familiar with the song MacArthur Park, which is frightening in the dark. Of course, Weird Al Yankovic also made a parody of that. Yeah. Jurassic, I think it was called Jurassic Park or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it is exactly what you are going to expect. It is a literally spoken word, almost like he's telling a story I haven't really listened to this. But yeah, thought it was just unique to have in my collection. Spoken word, audiobook style. All right, second last, I've got a Canadian band coming up. And this is the subgenre or style of jump blues. Jump blues, kind of more of, I would call it poppy blues, I guess you would say. It's a Canadian band called the Powder Blues Band. Best known for their hit single, Doing It Right, which is not on this album, but this is the Thirsty Ears album, another single that they released. I believe this is from 1981 with the Lavin Brothers and Duras Maxwell on the drums. But there you go, Powder Blues Band. Like I said, jump blues. It's a little bit bluesy music, but not like the depressing blues. This is definitely higher tempo blues music. So Powder Blues Band out of Canada. And last but not least, we have brass band music. Now I could have went and showed some of my grandfather's military music, but I wanted to leave that for later. So there are some brass songs on here. I would almost call this like German bar music. But the Oktoberfest, this is also my grandfather's from when I inherited it, but this is his Oktoberfest album he picked up while he was in Germany, while he was stationed there in the late 60s. Now, this is more, like I said, it's more like beer drinking music, I guess you would call it. Definitely got some accordion stuff on here, but there are other songs that are on here that fit the brass band mold. And the songs that are on here would definitely fit the mold of song titles that I cannot pronounce. So, I mean, other than the word Hawaii, and polka, there are very few songs or tracks on here that I could pronounce. But yeah, it does fit the brass band mold. There are some songs that would be, I guess, military-like, along with the beer fest, beer drinking, sausage eating, German festival music. So there we go. Brass band music to end the Styles video off. So I hope that you all enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever seen any of these albums before? Other albums that are in this collection that you've never seen? And what are your thoughts on the genres that I've shown today? Do you have any of these genres in your collection? I'd love to know if you have like spoken word or noise music or anything like that. Always up for a good conversation. So until next time, which will possibly be some contests or more in my Styles video or even threads, because I'm becoming like the king of doing threads these days when I get motivated. We will see you on the next one. Cheers, and I hope you had a good time watching the video. Take care, everyone. Bye now.